I come from Kenya and I grew up in the slopes of a mountain, climbing the slopes, running to school every single day and back. And going up a hill is not an easy thing. How about climbing a mountain? And I ask you a question. What's your Kilimanjaro? This is Now Tell Us, and I'm your host, Anthony Moirore. But Now Tell Us, we have guests come and tell us stories. They come and inspire us, teach us something that is passionate to them. And always we're having a great time. And that means that even today, we have a great time with our guest, who is known as Krys Pappius. She's going to be here very soon. If you're ready, let's go and meet Krys. And we're going to know much more of what she's going to tell us today. Here we go. Hello, Krys.
Hello, Anthony. How are you?
I'm good. I hope you too.
Oh, I am, and I'm very glad to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, and welcome to Now Tell Us. What's let me hope that I pronounce your name right.
You did, actually.
Uh,
Congratulations. I've been called many things.
okay. Yes, it's always good to know that you got it right. It's Krys Pappius. So, what's the origin of that name, and what's in? I mean, I'm curious.
My family background is originally from Poland.
Okay.
The name Pappius is not a Polish name. However, many generations back, the story is that my great-great-great-great-grandfather was from Hungary, and he ran from his family, ended up in Poland, and found the love of his life, and he settled down there. That's the story. I don't know if it's true, but
Mm.
my family, the way I know it, is from Poland.
I almost thought it's a Greek name.
I used to work in a hospital where all the housekeeping staff, the orderlies, the attendants, they were all Greek, and they would see my name tag and they would start speaking to me in Greek, and it was like, I'm sorry, I don't understand. I'm not Greek. So you're in good company.
Yes, I almost wanted to greet you in Greek because I know some Greek.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It wouldn't have worked. I wouldn't have understood. I might have
You,
left.
you, you need to learn some Greek because someday someone is gonna say hi and you respond, oh yeah, that's a Greek.
The one word I remember is kukla, which the staff used to call me that as it's a very I hope my understanding was it was a very endearing name, like friend.
Oh yeah, sure. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's a good name, and
There
it's
you
good.
go.
It's good that you know some Greek. Okay, now let us know who is Krys. Tell us about a little bit about yourself. What it is that you do today. What makes you happy? What?
Well, I can tell you right off the bat that what makes me happy is to be out in the mountains. I live in British Columbia on the west coast of Canada in a city called Abbotsford, and I'm at the foot of the Rockies. And so my happy place is being up on the mountains somewhere, some trail somewhere. And in order to be fit enough to go to the mountains and do the kind of hiking I do, my second happy place is the gym. So that's where my spirit gets filled.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I haven't climbed a high mountain. I was born in the slopes of Mount Kenya, but I've never reached the peak.
Yeah.
And and one thing I hear from those people that go to the peaks of mountain is that you've got to be well trained. It's not you just don't wake up today and say I'm gonna get to the peak of this mountain.
No, well, you don't do that. No, for me, it took once I made the decision to realize my dream of climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. It was then a year that I trained and got ready and did the arrangements and that. But that's why my question is, what is your Kilimanjaro? Because reaching the summit of that mountain changed my life in a way that I could never have predicted.
Mm.
So go ahead.
Yes. Tell us, what do you do on a day-to-day basis? Because I don't think that going to the gym is what you eat from.
No, no, that's my happy time. No, what I do is I am a mindset coach. I work with women who are stressed out overachievers, and I help them pivot to become calm, high performers. The difference is that overachievers, which I was the poster child for overachiever, is someone who believes that their personal value is based on their achievements. So you keep trying to do more and more and more, but I was also um, a, sorry, a people pleaser. I had no confidence, a people pleaser.
Mhm.
And there was never enough. No matter what I did, it was just never enough. So I kept driving myself, and it's crazy making. I lost myself. I got to the point in my life where I had lost connection with what my purpose was in life. I had completely lost my way. And that's why climbing Mount Kilimanjaro was such a turning point for me, because I did it at a time in my life where my back was against the wall and I
Mm.
had to make choices.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about now this climbing Mount Kilimanjaro.
So I'll give you the backstory. I was well into my career as a police officer, and I was a stressed out overachiever. And one night I got involved in an investigation. I ended up in a pursuit, and I crashed my police car quite badly. It was quite a violent crash. And I ended up with some significant injuries. So I was off work for 15 months.
Mm.
While that car was in motion, the crash occurred over time. My car stayed in motion, and my life flashed before my eyes. And I owned the fact that my life was a disappointment, that I was unfulfilled, that nothing made sense anymore. And I
Mm.
vowed to myself that I was going to make change. If I survived, I was going to make changes. Clearly, I survived. Um, and it took me 15 months to get fit to be back to be on duty again. And
Mhm.
I remember going into the office that first day, and I walked into the locker room. I put on my uniform. I put on all the tools, and I looked in the mirror, and my heart sank because nothing had changed. I was still that person who had been in that car. And that's when I reconnected with my determination to change.
Mhm.
And I had a lot of dreams that had been on, collecting dust in the dark. And one of the dreams was to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. I had
Mhm.
first seen the mountain in 1980. I was visiting Kenya. I saw the mountain, and I wondered what the world would look like from up there.
Mm.
And as soon as I thought that, all those beliefs came. You can't do that. Who do you think you are? You don't deserve this. And when I looked in the mirror in that locker room that day, I resolved that I was going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. That I was enough of saying no. I was going to fulfill that dream. And I started training. I made arrangements. And in 2006, I saw the world from the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. And in that moment, I saw the world in all its beauty, its texture. I saw life as full of possibilities. And I knew that from then on, whatever happened in my life was going to be a choice.
Mhm.
Now, the interesting that happened is when you have a dream that you've put off for so long and you say yes to it, the impact is that, well, I could do that. What's next? It's
Mhm.
it's the answer. What's next? I've done this. What else
Yeah.
can I do? And I had a lot of adventure dreams that were collecting dust on the shelf. So I went to Rwanda to see the wild gorillas. I ended up going into the Sahara Desert. I went to Mongolia where I saw a total eclipse of the sun. I trekked across the Himalayas. And each one of these adventures made me understand that I could do whatever I wanted to do. I
Mhm.
still didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was still lost. I hadn't done the inner work yet. But doing these adventures started the dominoes effect. And once I got the adventures ingrained and off the bucket list, it was a question of looking within to see what was going to bring my life fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another journey because I thought I had to do it myself. I had to find my own answers. So I read books and I went, read books, did the courses, did the workshops. And what I discovered was they all gave me permission to dream. None of them told me how to make dream my reality.
Mm.
Right? They tell you dream, dream, dream big, but they never tell you how. So I
Mm.
got a few golden nuggets from all these various resources, and I took a step back and I realized that there was a process, that those nuggets could fit together in a process. And when I started implementing that process and doing the inner work, that's when life really changed, to the point where now I know my purpose. I live stress-free. I do what I love doing. I get up in the morning excited about the day ahead. I have a really good life.
Mm. You remind me of the three P's, and I don't know whether you have some letters that you are stuck with, or whether in that process there are some letters. We're going to learn more about the process. But the three P's are, there is the promise, and then there is the process, and then there is the provision. Every dream has three parts. That's someone who said that. The three P's: the promise, the process, and the provision.
Oh, well,
So,
thank you. Can I make a note of that, Anthony? Because it, I really like what you just did.
mhm,
Because to me, the process is, um, what is your vision?
yeah.
What is it that you want? And it has to be connected to your values and your purpose. When your vision is built on your values and purpose, you have an emotional connection to it. And the result is that you're drawn towards it, you're not pushed towards it.
Mhm.
There's a big difference. And if you know who Jack Canfield is, Jack Canfield says, his quote is that people who don't have what they want in life is because they've never clarified in detail what it is, the life that they want. And creating that vision of your life, that's the first step. You have to know what you want,
Mhm.
not what people think you should have, not living up to other people's expectations. It's what does your heart want? So I take
Mhm.
my clients through a process of finding out what is that vision that they are emotionally attached to. And then it's, of course, all those beliefs. No, I can't. You don't deserve it. Who do you think you are? Those are just stories that we tell ourselves, stories that we learned when we were 4, 5, maybe even younger. And and it's in our subconscious, and they repeat like a loop, and our beliefs dictate our actions. And as long as we allow subconscious beliefs to drive our life, we're basically allowing a 5-year-old to make decisions about our life.
Mhm.
So the next step in the process is to bring those beliefs that are guiding what you do in life, bring them to the front, shine light on them, and ask
Mm.
yourself, does this make sense? Is this true? And for the most part, we can easily debunk those beliefs, and we can replace them with beliefs that actually reflect your truth. And
Mm.
the third step is you have to take action. You
Action.
have to take action.
Yeah.
If I want a glass of water and I'm sitting at my desk, I have to get up and do something, right? If I sit at my desk, nothing's going to change. You have to take action. So
Mm.
vision, beliefs, and action is the process.
Vision, beliefs, and action.
Yep.
That's a good one. Now, I believe there's someone here who's listening or watching us, or even who gets to listen to us after we are through with this live broadcast, who has a mountain before himself or herself. She sees this big dream that she wants to achieve, but then it's so big that she can't even want to get started towards it because she doesn't believe in her ability to accomplish, to climb that mountain. And now you tell us there's a process. Is there a way that you can break for us the process? Are there some subtopics on the
There
process?
are the subtopics. Yes.
Yeah.
As far as the vision goes, it's what do you want and why do you want it? You
Mm-hmm.
need to know your why. You need to know why this makes sense for you. How is that vision connected to your heart and to who you are at your essence?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's the beliefs, and I take my clients through a process. I reflect back their reasons why they think they can't have something.
Mm-hmm.
And then we start digging deep. Where did that come from? Whose voice is that? What were the circumstances under which that opinion was expressed to you? And if it's just an opinion, it doesn't make it right,
Mm-hmm.
right? That, and then action. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because when I thought of going to Kili, when I made the decision to go to Kili, I had to break that journey down into small steps. So in order to get to the top of Kili, what do I need? I need to have somebody to guide me. I need to be in shape. I need to travel to Kenya. I need to break it down into the smallest steps possible. If all I ever thought of was the summit, it would be overwhelming. Absolutely. And I probably wouldn't have done it.
Mm-hmm.
Break it down into small steps. So for example, the last day, the day we summited on Kili, it's 19,600 feet, right? There's less oxygen. It's hard to move. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the summit. If all I focused on was that last few hundred feet to the summit, I don't think I would have made it. What I focused on was moving one foot ahead of the other, just so that the toes of one boot passed the toes of the other boot. That's 6 inches,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's all I focused on. I didn't focus on the top. I focused on the next step. And no matter what your journey is, no matter what that dream is, yes, you have the big picture. And in order to achieve it, you need to break it down into the smallest steps possible. That way, you always know what your next step is. You're never at a loss. You're never overwhelmed. You can see how far you've come because, hey, there may be 100 steps, but I've already completed 10. Look at how far I've come. And you celebrate every success. You celebrate, you acknowledge it, you own it. And the momentum keeps going. And yes, sometimes it's hard. There's no doubt that there are days when life comes in the way and it's hard. I'm not saying, I don't believe in rainbows and unicorns. Life has challenges. Our goals have challenges. You have to work at it. But as
Mm-hmm.
long as your heart is your guiding light, you always know how to come back. When you're clear on what you want and why you want it, when you stray, you come back.
When you stray, you come back.
And you will stray. You will
Yes.
stray.
Mm-hmm. You will stray. Climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. That's, that must have been a big dream when you achieved it. And I know there are people who have those big dreams. Now, you talked about childhood beliefs, and not only childhood, we have adults who live with this aspect where they are focusing on a generalization that has been placed on them. Now you go there, you hear that this person is from this place, and people from this place do things like this. This is this gender, and this gender does things like this. So that's going to prevent you from taking an action towards a dream that you may have. How do you hand, how do you handle how do I handle generalizations? Because I come from a place that people don't expect to see much from.
When you are grounded in purpose, it is really hard to describe, but you become immune to what other people think. When you are grounded in what you want and why you want it, and you're going there step by step, you're, Anthony, I can't put it into words. You just know. You're just immune. You can look at someone's opinion and you say, oh, yeah, that's an opinion. It's almost like you become an observer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I observe that this person has the opinion that I should not be doing this. But my heart tells me that this is the right thing for me. And what I need to remind myself is when someone tries to stop me in my tracks, to prevent me from living my purpose, I'm triggering something in them. And I need to remember it's about them, it's not about me.
Mm-hmm.
It's always about consider the source. And sometimes It's someone who may be actually well-meaning. It could be. Um, and sometimes it's people who, whether they realize it or not, is like, well, if she can do it, I can do it, which means there's pressure on me to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
So always consider the source.
Always consider the source.
Yeah.
One of our viewers, who's known as Simon, likes the title. Yeah, what's your Kilimanjaro? And he's gonna look at it. I guess he's busy right now, but make sure you watch it it from the beginning to the end.
And Anthony, what I want to make clear is that I'm not suggesting people go out there and start climbing Kilimanjaro. I'm not
Yeah.
suggesting people go out and climb any mountain. What I'm suggesting is, what is your dream, right? For somebody who dreams of getting healthy again, maybe just walking around the block is going to be their Kilimanjaro. When they walk around the block, they'll then say, what's next? Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you just want to spend time doing some self-care, just taking time for me. And the first time you take time for me, you realize the world is still turning. The people around me are still living. I can do it. Whatever it is that you're saying no to, but that your heart is longing for, try it in one little tiny piece and just see what happens. And you may be surprised that, like me, you find yourself asking, what's next? Success is an upward spiral, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you step out of your comfort zone and you try new things. And the world becomes full of possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that means to you, not to me, not to Anthony. What does it mean to you as a human being?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What does that mean to you? And just go and do it. Follow the process and achieve that dream
Yeah.
that you have. Now, I want to ask this. There is the belief, which you told us maybe was a hard one at the beginning. And then there is the hard part of completing and surmounting the mountain to come to the peak. Through all this journey from the birth of the dream to the fulfillment of the dream, what would you say was your biggest or was the most hard part of that journey?
Asking for help. Asking for help.
Mm,
For me, asking for help was a sign of weakness, which was um, why what it took me, 10 years to accomplish, to pivot from, overachiever to high performer. My purpose is to share my knowledge with my clients so that they don't have to take 10 years. Asking for help, asking for, how do I train for this? How, it does, asking for help in our society. And I'm talking about North America. I don't know
mm,
what it's like in the part of the world where you're at. But asking for help here is frowned upon. You're supposed to be self-sufficient. You're supposed to know it all. Just, and we are humans. We need connection. Two
mm-hmm,
heads are better than one. Collaboration. You know something I don't know. I learn from my clients all the time. I'm not the know-it-all. They
mm-hmm,
teach me. We all have something to share, some knowledge to share with others to make the world a better place and to make life easier.
mm. Yeah. And people expect, or rather, I imagine that people would know my weakness if I say I don't know. So I don't ask. I don't seek for help.
How can you get better at what you do? I remember, when we talk about this, I clearly remember when I was still working as a police officer, I had a colleague who was working on an investigation. And I remember being in the office and this person went, come over here. And they asked me something about what they were doing. And I said, what's the secret here? Well, I don't want them to know that I don't know. You're a junior officer. You're supposed to be learning. You can't know it all. And it made me sad to think, because even at the time, even though I was still, an overachiever, I could see it in others, how painful it made life to not be able to ask for help. And it seemed so silly. And yet I was doing it. So it's not that silly, right? It's so ingrained.
Hmm. Wow, and that's interesting. So that was the most difficult part of the journey. And I don't know about you who's listening or watching. Thank you for the comments, Nemi. Thank you, Simon. Thank you to everyone else out there who's watching. If you can send a question or even a comment, we really appreciate. And I wonder, what's your Kilimanjaro? What's that big thing that you have in front of me, of yourself, and you are imagining that you need to climb it, that you need to overcome, that you need to succeed in? What is it? Yeah, it's possible for you to overcome that challenge. It's all possible for you to achieve that dream. So says Krys Pappius. And we thank you, Krys, for taking your time to be with us here.
Thank you.
Yes. I wonder, in what ways do you work with people now? Because I know there are those who are fearing of asking for help, and now you've made this invitation that people could reach out and ask, "Hey, I want to climb my Kilimanjaro, whatever it is that that they are having in front of them." So, how do you work with people? How do you help them? Tell us.
How I work with people is I do one-on-one coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And I ask for a commitment of 6 months. Things don't change overnight. You have to repeat. Um, when you're bringing change, when you want to change anything, you start as unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know. Then you get to the point where you're consciously incompetent. Oh, this is what I have to learn. This is what I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Then you become consciously competent. You actually have to think about what you're doing. Do you drive an automatic or a standard car? Do you have a stick shift or do you have an automatic?
I drive shift, okay,
Okay.
stick shift, and then also I drive the automatic, both of them.
Okay. Remember when you were learning how to drive a stick shift,
Yeah.
right? You had to, okay, put in the clutch, change gears. You had to tell yourself that's conscious competence. You know what you have to do, but you have to talk your way through it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you become unconsciously competent. You don't think about that anymore. I get into my little stick shift and I'm driving around and I'm not even thinking about what my hands or my feet are doing. I just know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Change takes time. Learning takes time. So I work with people one-on-one and I ask for 6 month commitment. And I also know that I don't have a solution to everybody's problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I meet with people first to make sure that we are a good fit, right? Get on the phone with me. Very easy to do. Meetwithkrys.com. You get to my calendar, book a time, and let's talk. Do you have a problem that I can help you with, help you solve? And if I don't have a solution, maybe I can direct you in the right direction. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the initial call, and then I work with them. And to summarize everything I've just said, I do have a download that's available that I believe you're going to be posting. And it's a guide. It simply summarizes what is the process, what are the details of the process, and there is a small self-assessment in there as well. And download that. And then please, if you're so inclined, connect with me. Let's get on the phone and let's talk. Let's talk. And what is your Kilimanjaro? What is that one thing that you have this longing for? Maybe it's dancing. Maybe you want to learn ballroom dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Maybe you want to learn how to drive a stick shift. That's your dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is that one thing that you can do that will open the floodgates to you creating a life, giving yourself permission and having the confidence to build the life that you really want, not the status quo.
Mm. Yeah, so go get the gift. It's somewhere in the description. Just go click the link and follow. And if people want to connect with you, how should they reach you?
Uh, They can connect with me. They can go to my website, KrysPappius.com. They can send me an email, KrysPappius@gmail.com. Very simple way to get a hold of me. I used to have a .com email address and got so much unpleasant communication that I'm done with that. So it's just KrysPappius@gmail.com.
Oh, okay, that's good. So go to KrysPappius.com or send an email to KrysPappius@gmail.com.
And
And
I'm happy to talk to anybody. Even if I don't have a solution, our conversation will be worthwhile because you'll get some clarity as to what the issues are for you.
hmm. And it's good that you mentioned that. Is there a specific group of people that you work with, or can just anybody reach you and then you're going to find out the direction you're going to send them to?
I'm happy to talk to anybody. Primarily, my clients are women,
Okay.
are people, they're tired of living somebody else's life. They're overachievers, and they want to become high performers. They want to have a purpose-driven life lived with confidence. And if there's a man out there for whom that resonates, I'm more than happy to work with you. Right? I
That's
don't
good.
say if we are in alignment, if your needs and my solution are in alignment, I'm happy to work with you.
Thank you very much for that clarity. So people who reach out to you and then you work. Now, don't be shy to ask for help, please. Hey,
Yes,
you listening?
don't be shy. Don't be
Yep.
shy. And the other limitation is I'm English speaking. Because I know you're international. I'm sorry, it's English speaking.
Oh, yeah, it's good that you made that clear because some Greeks could have been coming after you. Yes, I have some Greek listeners.
Yeah.
So they need to be speaking some English. Now,
And I'll also add, please, that geography doesn't matter because it's all over Zoom. So geography is not an issue.
okay, that's good. Good also to know that. So we really thank you for taking your time to come and tell us about your experience climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. And we should think, what is it that I need to climb? What is it that I need to accomplish? And go after it using the guidelines, using the suggestions and the tips that you shared with us. We thank you.
I thank you so much for the opportunity to share my message.
Yeah. And it's just about to end this episode. But before we go, we ask you to leave us with a few words that we should always remember. Which are they? Just a few words that we should always
I'm
remember.
sorry. I was reading. I'm sorry. I got distracted by the chat. A few words.
That we should always, yeah, leave us with a, okay, let me also read. Okay. Yes, I
I
see
will
that.
tell you what my final words are.
Yeah, that
We
we
get
should.
one life. This isn't a dress rehearsal. Okay? This is one life that we get. And I believe that we have a birthright to live life with confidence and a birthright to feel alive and engaged in everything we do. Life will send us challenges, but we have a birthright to feel confident that we can deal with whatever life sends our way. And we have a birthright to have fun.
Thank you for that. So once again, we thank you. And we also thank our viewers and every one of you. Thank you very much for even distracting Krys at the reading your comments.
I know.
We appreciate your comments. And Nemi says she already got your contact info. So
excellent. I look forward to connecting.
She's going to reach out to you and everyone out there who's watching us. Go connect with Krys.
Yes.
Yes, so that's about it on today's episode at Now Tell Us. I have been your host, Anthony Mwerore, and together with our guest, Krys Pappius, we are saying bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, go achieve your dream.
Yep.
Climb your Kilimanjaro to the peak.
Yes.
Bye.